All right, guys, we are going to do solving equations with one variable today. This should be a review from Algebra 1. If you get stuck on the delta math, there are videos. So let's look here at this first one. And remember, when you have parentheses, you want to do those first. So you're going to distribute that 3. So you get 3x minus 6. Then we're going to bring the 5x down. And so we have that. Before we want to continue, we want to combine like terms on each side. So we have 3x plus 5x, which is 8x, and then the minus 6. On this side, on the right side, we don't have like terms. Now at this point, you want to get all your variables on one side and your numbers on the other. And it does not matter which way you go. I'm just going to move my variables to the right. And then I'm going to move my constants, to the left, and then my constants to the right. So that's going to give me negative x equals negative 18. And we need to get x by itself and not negative x. So we're going to divide by negative 1, and x equals 18. Now, these you may not have to show every one of those steps to get to that point, and that's okay. You can check this by plugging 18 back in place of x. All right, here we have parentheses on both sides. So we're going to distribute first, and we get 6x plus 9 minus 2x, and then 10 plus 4x minus 1. Again, we want to combine like terms, and so we have 6x minus 2x, so please watch your signs, and that's going to give me 4x plus 9. And then on the other side, we have 10 minus 1, and that is also going to give me 4x plus 9. Now at this point, you may remember when they're equal, if we were to try to get the variables to one side and our constants to the other, that's going to give me 0 equals 0. So if you recall, when you get a true statement, when you solve an equation, it is all real numbers. So all real numbers will work there. If you had gotten a false statement like 0 equals 9, it would be no solution. Okay, so this last part, you will have these on the delta math, and when you have a fraction in your equation, you're going to want to eliminate the denominator, so get rid of that. So you're going to ask yourself, what is the common denominator of 9 and 5? So if you remember, 9 and 5 will both go into 45. So we're going to multiply each part, okay, by 45. Now, even though this one does not have a denominator, you have to multiply by 45 there also. So you're going to multiply every part, because if you remember, the basic rule for solving equations is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. So that's the reason we have to do each part. So 9 will divide into 45 5 times, and then you're going to distribute that 5, and that's going to give me 5x plus 10. And 5 will go into 45 9 times. Now this negative will make that 9 negative. So when I distribute that, I'm going to distribute a negative 9, and that's going to give me negative, excuse me, 18x minus 81. And then that's going to be 90x plus 135. Okay, so that eliminated our denominator, and now it's just a basic equation. So we're going to combine like terms. We have 5x minus 18x, which is negative 13x. And then we have 10 minus 81, which is negative 71. And then we have 90x plus 135. Okay, again, we're going to get our variables to one side. Subtract 90x, subtract 90x. And we are going to have negative 103x, add 71, equals 206. Divide by negative 103, and x equals negative 2. Okay, so again, you will have some like that in Delta Math. If you get confused, please watch the videos in Delta Math. Okay, so if you multiply or divide, this is solving inequalities. So if you multiply or divide by a negative, if you remember in inequalities, you must flip your symbol. Okay, so let's look at one here. With inequalities, I recommend you always try to get your variable on the left side because then you don't have to worry about the sign of the inequality. So we're going to subtract 8 and subtract 8, and that will give me 5m equals 65. Oh, sorry, greater than 65. Going to divide by 5, so m would be greater than 13. Okay, so if we're going to do this on a number line, you would have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if you remember, if you have open or closed, is it equal to? So it's greater than but not equal to, so that's going to be open, and then greater than is to the right. So we would shade to the right. Okay, so if it had been equal to, like here in the next example, then you would put a closed dot. Okay. All right, here I'm going to go ahead and move my variable to the right, left. So I get 6n plus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Subtract 6. So 6n is greater than or equal to negative 12. Divide by 6. N is greater than or equal to negative 2. The reason I move my variable to the left is because when you do that, then this shows us, when your variable is on the left, it shows us which way to shade. If it's on the right, it kind of flips it around. Okay, so when we are graphing this one, graph it over here. We have -3, -2, -1. And then since it's equal to here, that's going to be a closed dot, and then it's greater than, so we're going to shade it to the right. All right, let's look at this last one. We are going to add 1. And then don't forget this negative stays with the 4, so we bring that down. Less than -40. Divide by -4. Now here, since we divided by -4, then we must flip our inequality, and so we get x is greater than +10. So again, we're going to draw our number line. I just expect you to have the number that's needing to graph and then 1 or 2 on here. It's going to be open, and then it's going to be shaded to the right. Not all graphs are shaded to the right, just these 3 examples. All right, so let's look at the last part here is applications. So you will be expected to know about perimeter and area. So if you recall, perimeter is the around the area. So it's all, think of a fence. If you're fencing in your yard, that is the perimeter of your yard. So you're adding up all the lengths of the fence. Area is what's inside the fence, okay? So the length of a rectangle map is 15 inches. The perimeter, so the length of a rectangle map is 15 inches and the perimeter is 50 inches. Find the width. So what is our unknown is the width. Okay, so we're going to let that equal W. If you recall, to find the length of a rectangle for perimeter, you add up all the sides. So there's going to be 2 lengths and 2 widths. So we have, if we look at our little drawing here, we would have 15, 15, W, and W. And some of you, without even working this out, know the answer immediately. And great job. But I do want you to set up the equation and show me how you would do that. So we would have 2W plus 15 and 15 is 30 equals 50. Then, of course, we would subtract 30 and we get 2W equals 20. Divide by 2, So the width is 10. Okay, and like I said, some of you knew that immediately by looking at the problem. Okay, so let's look at this last part. Charles is saving $5 each week. Okay, he earns an extra 15 by mowing his neighbor's lawn. How many weeks will he need in order to save at least $75? Okay, so $5 each week. How many weeks? So their unknown is how many weeks. So that's going to be our W. And he's making $5 for each week. He has $15 from the neighbor's lawn. And then at least, if I have at least $75, that means I'm going to have 75 or more. So now it's just a basic inequality. We're going to subtract the 15. That's going to give me 60. We're going to divide by 5. And then W is going to be greater than or equal to 12. So he would need to work at least 12 weeks to get at least $75. Okay, so again, you're going to have a Delta math assignment. You will work those out, and then if you get stuck, watch the videos. Have a great day.